It's the E-Commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart Mraz and John Suter. The E-Commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's E-Commerce Minute episode 602.
In today's episode, Kylie Jenner makes $600 million deal with Coty.
When the iconic global cosmetics company Coty asked themselves how exactly they'd be able to keep up with Gen Z's tastes, they probably didn't initially consider dropping more than $500 million to do so. But the Gen Z demographics coin is incredibly valuable, so Coty did just that. Kylie Jenner has sold 51% of her cosmetics and skincare brand to Coty for $600 million. A price tag that now values the entire enterprise at a whopping $1.2 billion with a B. The deal is believed to be completed in 2020, with the businesswoman keeping a 49% stake in Kylie Cosmetics and staying on as its creative lead on both product development and marketing initiatives. The 22-year-old's brand, which includes Kylie Cosmetics and Kylie Skin, will be controlled by global makeup and fragrance brand Coty moving forward in order to, as Jenner puts it, transform the brand into an international beauty powerhouse. Coty, which also makes products from brands like Sally Hansen's nail polish and Gucci's fragrances, expects the transaction to add to the sales growth of its core fragrance, cosmetics, and skincare lines by more than 1% each year over the next 3 years. Back in July, the New York Times reported that Kylie Cosmetics sales were declining and that the brand wasn't attracting loyal customers. So it makes sense for Kylie to hand off the business to a well-respected international conglomerate so she can focus on her other endeavors. But there's always a but. While expanding the brand to more categories and markets can be expected to juice Coty and Kylie's declining sales in the short term, the bigger question is whether Coty has paid too much for a 4-year-old brand whose staying power is still a question for many. Jessica Testa from the New York Times also notes that it will be interesting to see whether Coty will double down on Kylie's coolness or apply its more time-tested sales models to bring in a new type of customer, which is older shoppers who don't really care about her. Will we start seeing lip kits in the CVS beauty aisle? Only time will tell.
Excellent read, Brittany. Out of 602 episodes, this is the first one I did not read, so you get a bell.
Thank you.
So we assigned Brittany this podcast because she's the demographic and knows more about this kind of stuff. So I would love to hear your spicy hot take on this whole deal. Bart and I have some thoughts, but it's more business related. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, I mean, I have the tea. So, first of all, I mean, the whole thing about Kylie Cosmetics isn't even like the products themselves. The whole reason why the brand took off to where it is now is not only the Kardashian name and the Jenner name, of course, but the way in which Kylie's social media marketing.
Bingo. Okay, so you're going to say exactly what we're thinking here.
Oh, yes, excellent.
Before we get to that, can you speak to the quality of this? Is this a quality product or is it just because it's her name on it, it's just the same as everything else?
All right, well, here we go. So I actually have a lip kit. I received it as a Christmas present.
What is a lip kit?
So the lip kit comes with, they're very iconic. They come in a bunch of shades and it comes with a liquid lipstick and a lip liner. Okay. And so basically, for those of you who don't know, the lip liner just helps the longevity of the actual lip product that you're putting on your mouth. So the one that I have is like a nice dark wine color. And like, here's the tea on it. It looks gorgeous. Like the colors are nice. It's soft. It smells good. But I will say they're a little bit flaky. They get dry and crusty quicker than I'd appreciate a liquid lip to get dry and crusty. And they stain my lips. So that's not that great of a thing. I know that it's really hard to do a dark matte liquid lipstick without it staining a little bit. So I don't really penalize them that much for it. But the quality, especially for the price, it isn't terrible. I do know that when the lip kits first kind of went on the market, there was a huge issue with the doe foot applicator. So for those of you who don't know, usually lip glosses, liquid lips are applied with a doe foot applicator. The one that she originally had put out in the first launch was crusty and dusty. Like that thing scratched your lips. It had fibers in it. It was not okay. And all these beauty brands and YouTubers called it out and she immediately fixed it. So that is one thing I will say about Kylie is when she sees a problem, it does usually get fixed in due time.
All right. So let me cut you short there. So I'm asking more for, okay, so you have experience with the product. price wise compared to another product, is this a premium product, or is it premium because it's her name on it, or what would you compare it to brand wise for the price?
Okay, so the thing about her lip kits in particular, which are her best selling thing, are that 2 items come with it, you know? So that kind of compared to a liquid lipstick, it's still a pretty decent price, I would say. Let me get up the price of a Kylie lip kit. Uno momento, just so I can like give like a fair. Okay, so her lip kit is $29. Now, I will say that that's a pretty darn good price considering you get a lip liner, because Anastasia is another huge liquid lip company, and theirs run around $21, I want to say. And you don't get, let me see, they're 20, and you don't get a lip liner. So beings is that the lip liner is only $9 more. That's a pretty good deal, I would say.
So is this targeted to teens and people in their 20s? Or, I mean, I can't imagine a woman of a certain age going and buying Kylie Cosmetics. I mean, is she just targeting the young market and now she's cashing out, or where is this going?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the crazy and kind of alarming thing is that you would think Kylie's base would be around my age, like early 20s, late teens. But it's literally like 13-year-olds, because we're all too woke. Like us, like younger millennials, older Gen Zers are a little too woke to like give in to this kind of capitalism. But the younger kids eat this up.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's why I asked you about the quality, because if they're targeting a kid that's 13 to 16, I don't think quality is going to be top of mind. It's going to be price and it's going to be brand.
yeah, and for $29, what they're getting is good. So I could see from that perspective why they would get it for Christmas. But at the end of the day, like having my kid have Kylie Jenner as their idol and buying their products is just like crazy to me. Like, no, like it's just like insane that it's like the 13-year-olds who are like idolizing this and like buying it, and the parents are like, oh hell yeah.
So the real So the real story is, and Bart, feel free to chime in here, is how she built this company. She built this mini empire on a very small staff through Instagram. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's all social. I mean, obviously, family name and everybody.
I mean
they're famous for being famous. Well, I mean, they're famous for being famous.
A little bit of a head start.
But, you could do that. I mean, you probably could do it on a smaller scale, right, than she has done, but it's doable. I think those kind of brands are going to be more and more prevalent. Now, when it comes to influencers, I mean, that's going to change too, just because, Instagram is trying to take away the likes and stuff like that. But there's the reality of it is, I don't think people are going to be by likes. It might be influence, niche stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, what Gary always says, like, it's going to be deep, not wide, so it's going to be small. And I mean, we see that from just our own perspective. I mean, we do this show, our audience is not huge, but it's deep. It listens, right? So, we're not going to appeal to
crime podcasts, which are the biggest.
We're going to appeal to the e-commerce world and people who listen, like to have a quick news thing and like that. So it's the perfect timing. It happens that her audience is ginormous.
Yeah, it is. She has millions and millions of followers on Instagram.
Right. So that kind of happens, and that's kind of it. But it's the same thing over and over. It's just social is prevalent now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same thing when you like small town. When one person said it, it just went down the line. It's the same over and over and over. It's just an easy shot. So for her, it's easy.
I think this is going to prove a good case study in the future for how to build a brand via a social media channel, especially like Instagram. And I know you listen to Pivot, right, Bart? Scott Galloway basically said this is a lesson. They're going to say this is a lesson on how to build a giant company via social media with basically nothing but basically this company was built on a phone, and then wherever they get their products drop shipped. And this will probably take. If you see another couple examples of this will make Instagram more valuable than Facebook, the site,
True.
in general.
TikTok,
it's really impressive. I mean, I'm not a fan, and this is why I had you research the story and read it. I don't really care about these people, but I admire the hustle and I admire what she's built. And also, if we read between the lines, it looks like her sales were declining, so she got out in time.
Yeah, that honestly, that's tea. I think something that we didn't really talk about in the beginning is like how this whole thing even started. And it's actually like really crazy that like this brand was kind of built off of like Kylie's lips being big. Like that's what did it. That's why I think besides like the social media aspect, people wanted these lip kits because people wanted Kylie's lips.
Right.
What's crazy, and I'll allude to in my influencer story, is the fact that like her lips aren't even real. So like all of these people that are buying this are like striving for an unattainable goal, which is like so crazy to me. And that's how she keeps making money too, because that's the quickest and easiest way instead of getting $1,300 lip fillers to achieve those lips. And I think it's so crazy how you can market like a body part.
Well,
right?
With any good branding, you're buying a story, and she's got a good story.
Yeah.
And as Bart said, she had a head start in building this. It's not. I mean, if her name was Kelly Jones, I don't think she'd be getting $1 billion from or $600 million from Coty.
Absolutely not.
So.
But
Kylie Jenner, she cashed out. See, from what I'm reading, she cashed out at the right time. So good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll go and do something next. How old is she? She's not even 25. How old is she? 22.
She's my age.
Yeah. So she'll go and do something else. I mean, good for her. I admire the hustle. I mean, because when you're at that level and you get that kind of money, they could just sit around and sit by the pool and do nothing. But these girls are hustling, and for that, I admire the Kardashian clan, and that's where it begins and ends for me.
Yeah, that's what I've always said too. Like, obviously, they're not stupid. Like,
they're not stupid, and they
cannot be stupid.
Well, their mother was always a hustler, so
she was.
It's a genetic thing, I believe.
They always say that the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder.
Yeah, that's good. I never heard that one.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I got to remember that one.
That's the tea on that.
That's awesome.
But getting back to our point about her reach earlier that we were talking about, she has over 270 million social media followers. That's 250 million. That is insane.
It's funny that the power that you have with that kind of social reach. If you remember last year when they were doing the thing with Snapchat, or it was the year before, I don't remember, but when they did the Snapchat UI redesign, they just went and did it. And she was like, oh my God, like, does anybody use Snapchat anymore?
Oh,
she tanked their stock.
Really?
She tanked their stock with a tweet. I mean, this girl has some power.
Yeah, she does. And it's like alarming.
It's a very concentrated power because she has no influence over me. But look at what she did. She was able to, hold on, I'm going to look that up. Snapchat stock lost $1.3 billion. And all she said was, so does anyone else not open Snapchat anymore, or is it just me? ... Ugh, this is so sad. Then the stock tanked $1.3 billion.
Oof, Snap was probably so mad
7.2%, $1.3 billion in value after Kylie Jenner tweeted she is no longer using the app. Ooh. Do not mess with Kylie Jenner.
It went up.
It went back up. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Snapchat, but
doing some good stuff.
That company's got some problems. They keep saying that they're a camera company, and
they're not.
I don't get it. And TikTok is now eating everybody's lunch. So it's going to be interesting in social media in the next year, maybe even 6 months.
You know what else? Getting back to the Kylie thing. It's so crazy how Kylie and like Kim and all of them have like the same team, kind of. They have the same resources, but Kim's stuff bombed because she had that whole controversy with her shapewear line where she named it kimono. And
she wanted to trademark it.
Yeah.
Talk about cultural insensitivity.
And here Kylie is a darn billionaire because it's like, it's weird. I guess my point is like, what happened? Like, what happened between Kylie having her team that are super smart and like Kim's entire team letting that happen?
How old is Kim?
Kim is like in her 30s.
Right. So it's a different generation.
Yeah, I guess.
Kim came on the scene when social media, Kim probably had a MySpace page. Yeah. So that's where you have to look at it.
She was Paris Hilton's
all Kylie did was learn from Kim's mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do I know so much about that? The whole Kim Kardashian thing was pretty much unavoidable like 10 years ago. And now It's hard, it's easier to tune that kind of stuff out, but
Yeah.
it was everywhere. It was everywhere 10 years ago. 20 years ago, it was her mother. So, that's
She
the
went
power of social media.
from her job title, Kim, was cleaning out Paris Hilton's closet and being her personal assistant. She went from that to like a household name, even more so than Paris Hilton.
Right.
Like it's great. Like Paris created a monster. We clean
So
Paris.
this is all Paris Hilton's fault.
This is
All right, we're running a little long, so we'll close it up with a stat time. Online sales of Kylie Cosmetics declined 62% through the end of May from their peak in 2016, including a 14% drop since last year, according to a Rakuten intelligence study of U.S. online shoppers' receipts over the past 3 years. A Civic Science survey showed the percentage of women 18 to 24 who wear makeup daily has declined 38% from 50% in 2015, while the percentage of Gen Z women who never wear makeup has doubled over the 4 years to 27% from 12%. And Coty sales in the fiscal year through June 30th fell 8% to $8.65 billion. I want to hear your opinion on the makeup thing. Is it because people are more, young people in particular, are more like they're into taking care of themselves and being more athletic and doing the whole hippy dippy thing? Or, I mean, you think it's just a fad, or you think it's like this is?
I would honestly say that it's a combination of two things. I think that we think that it's dropping because it was so unfathomably big for the past couple years, because YouTube and that whole industry of like MUAs on YouTube literally made makeup like a huge industry, even more so than it was like back in like the early 2000s. Like, yeah, there were makeup people on YouTube, but like I would say from like 2015 to like last year, it was like gigantic. And now I feel like it's just a drop off. It's like a normal drop off.
I'm glad I asked the question, because that is actually an answer I really hadn't thought of. So it was probably so huge before because it was just a giant thing, and then it's now the fad ended, and now it's everybody's getting back to more natural. And now 5 years from now, everyone will be back into makeup again.
Right. And the other side of that is sustainability. Of course, these huge companies aren't doing their part in having sustainable practices, sustainable packages, and people are getting mad. Like there's a huge climate predicament going on, and so people are buying less and less harmful packaging from makeup too. So that's the other reason that I'm sure.
Yeah. And you know what? And you make a good point there, in that consumers are more educated about what goes in the cosmetics, and that goes with the testing and the packaging and all the other things that go along with it. So there's a paradigm shift in terms of consumer knowledge, which affects sales. Very interesting. All right, Brittany, good job on the read. Sorry, this one was a little long, kids. But if you're into this kind of stuff, I hope you enjoyed it. Bart, you got anything to add in this one?
Nope.
Brittany, any closing thoughts?
No, it's just the Jenner Kardashians world, and we're living in it.
That's right. That is exactly right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe, or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion, or just want to say hi, find us on social media @SumoHeavy.